mean, I'm trying to get more doors, but I'm trying to learn, I guess, more the construction side of what stuff costs, what a remodel looks like, what it costs, and just trying to see what a good deal looks like, more than just on paper, I guess.
What's your plan of execution in regards to improving your knowledge and experience with identifying the cost of improvements?
I guess none right now. Nothing solid.
That's okay. Especially in real estate, because there's a lot of moving parts, many of the components have to go deep, right? And sometimes the information is not necessarily readily accessible, especially when you're looking at what's the cost to do improvements. There are a couple of templates out there, but they all vary. Cost of material and labor always fluctuates. So in something like that, in real estate, you got to go deep and wide in topics like that. And the best way to do it, more than even understanding what it's going to cost for you for labor and material, is having very intentional action to hold yourself accountable for that, right? And that way, as you're saying, okay, hey, I want to know what it's going to cost for me to understand. I want to know what it's going to cost to do remodels and what that looks like, right? The steps have to be laid out in a way that'll hold you accountable. So whether it's building a relationship with a contractor, whether it's going through Lowe's, what I did early in my career, and I was literally just pricing out things that I saw commonly, like 2x4, Douglas fir, 2x8 by 10s, 2x8 by 12s, right? And just playing that in my head so I can understand that. And then understanding flooring on the base, you can get it as cheap as like $1.75 a square foot, and then it can go up for real wood to $6, right? And so what are the actionable steps that you can utilize to hold yourself accountable in your part of growth? And that in particular, because that will be the only thing that holds you back as you start scaling. How do I go into a property and identify what it's going to cost me approximately, right? So important.
I'm always looking for deals. I get beat up all the time. Looking. Outside, but as far as the flips go, like I don't know how to manage in that like the budgeting, the crews and all that stuff in regards of a flip.
Yeah.
Right. As far as construction on the retail side, like it's always good when you're servicing a customer because it's usually laid out timely fashion within the span of like 6 to 8 months. But when it comes to flips, that's where I'm struggling to understand like the pieces and the sequences and like the order of operations.
I got you. I got you. That seems to be a recurring thing. That's the same thing. Mickey, you go by Mickey, correct?
Miggy, Miguel, whatever.
Okay, for sure. So that's one of the similar things that Miguel's experiencing, and that's really what makes deals, makes or breaks them. Because if you get that math wrong, you'll blow your deal up. And if you can't establish the math, you won't have the confidence to enter the deal and execute the deal. I'm sure that's something that you're working on too, Zach. Is that right?
Exactly. No, I 100% agree that you got to make sure you have kind of all your ducks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or at least if you don't necessarily have the ducks in a row, at least you know who to ask and who to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you were, that fourplex I was telling you about, Jake.
Right.
I finally got the contact information, and I gave the guy a call the other day, and he was busy, so he told me to call him back. I'm gonna try to call him back after my open house today.
Right.
But I want to try to get over there and actually get inside and see if he'll let me, take a walk through it so I can get an idea of what the property might need. I'm not even sure if he wants to sell it, but it sounds to me like he's had it for over a year and hasn't done a single thing to it. They just kicked. My girlfriend lives down the street, so they just kicked maybe 4 or 5 squatters out of it 3 days ago.
Right.
Up for there like 7 o'clock in the morning. So
yep.
I mean, it seems like something he might be sick and tired of.
It's a pain point. It's a pain point, and that pain point can be his motivation. Miguel, are you in Stockton?
Yeah, I'm in Stockton.
You guys tap Zach on the shoulder. If you guys are available today, it'd be a good time to go look at another property, see if you can analyze the property, see if you can get some more intel.
It's out in Tracy, but if you guys do want to go, if anybody's down to go and kind of check it out, I was gonna either see if Jacob, you got some time after 2 o'clock today, some point. I finished up my open house out here in Stockton at 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to call him and see if maybe he'll let us go inside and check it out. But
yeah, I'm coming through Tracy here in a couple hours, so I may be able to make that happen. But I'll try
to make something work with the owner, and then I'll let you guys know, see if we can get over there and check it out.
Yeah, drop that in the school channel if that's a possibility and a time, and whoever can make it, let's head over there. If I can make it, I'll walk in.
Let's do it. I'll reach out to him today.
All right, let's do that. Miguel, you think you can make it at 2?
Oh yeah.
What about you, Gerald?
Yeah, I could try to plan for it. Me and my wife might stay in because it's super hot with the baby.
Right on.
Yeah.
We were gonna say you could bring the wife and the baby. It's never too late or never too early to start real estate, right?
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding. It's scorching hot out there. We have somebody else that hopped on. Borhan, am I saying that right?
How you doing?
What's going on? Grinding. We're about to get into it. So as you guys know, the school channel is all about community, right? The things you guys are talking about right now is ultimately the main reason why I launched this school channel with my partner. Why? Because when I got into real estate, there was nothing there for me to get the foundation. It took me 7 years to get this, and whatever this is just the beginning. It's not impressive. There's so much more work that has to be done. But there was no community. There was no individuals out there giving out any information. It was really tight-lipped, which I thought was interesting. It was so tight-lipped that I didn't understand the value in it. I didn't know the good and I didn't know the bad. I didn't know the potential of how much money you can make, the resources you can build, the homes you can acquire, the tax advantages, the people you can meet. I didn't know how big it could really be. And as I'm ending almost my 7th year of real estate investing, I've connected with so many different people. I've flipped many houses. I've bought houses. I've sold houses. I won. I lost. I went through all these experiences. And what it took me to do in 7 years really should only take me 7 months. And that's the thing I keep playing in my head. Had I had a community of people in which I can connect with, like, okay, you guys are talking about going to the fourplex today. That didn't exist. I hadn't even seen any fourplexes with the exception of being on the MLS. And not knowing what it was going to take down the deal, I never would have went to go look at a deal so I can look at it, analyze it, and then make it a dream, right? Make it a goal. And then as we know, when we make things goals or when we start to speak it into existence, then we start putting the actionable steps so we can execute and achieve that. What you guys have right now amongst each other is you guys have the type of communication and the culture that's building within the school channel that will continue to put deals in front of you. again, I couldn't even analyze a fourplex or a fiveplex or a multi-unit. I didn't have the money. I didn't know what it was going to take. I didn't have the confidence. I didn't know anything. So I wouldn't have went to go see one anyways. You guys have everything you need within yourselves and then within this community to get the reps in place, get the confidence in place, get the capital, execute the right deal, and then create a ton of equity. So you guys are killing it. Zach's been doing real estate for a long time. Gerald's been doing real estate for a long time. And Miguel, you said you own your first home, correct?
Yeah.
How long ago did you buy that? About 3 years ago?
2021, yeah.
And is that your primary?
As of right now, yeah, primary house.
That's good. That's good. That's good. What are some of your longer term real estate goals outside of simply just buying real estate? Like if you can, in a short explanation, explain to me what it looks like for you to be successful in real estate.
Well, for me, I would like I guess as many doors as possible. Creating income to where I don't have to basically work a 9 to 5 anymore. I know a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, the rental income's not there. It's in fix and flips now." So I'm somewhat kind of confused as to what direction I want to go to. So
right.
I thought I had an idea, but then I went to your June 8th meetup and I had some conversations that just kind of like got me thinking in a different way. So yeah, right now, I guess the long term would be to have, a couple of doors in the future to have, that monthly income. But I guess as of right now, just probably focus on what's going to bring the most money, which is probably flips right now.
Right. You hit a valid point. That's a very valid point. It's very difficult for homes to pencil out, especially in California, especially in this high interest rate environment, especially with low inventory. There's some economical things. There's a variety of reasons for why they're not penciling out. You said on that June 8th meetup, you had some good conversation that led you that direction. Who'd you speak to? I know you spoke to a lot of people, but who planted the seed in your pivot? Do you remember who it was?
It was a gentleman that I believe you're like mentoring him somewhat. I forgot his name, but
Ulysses?
I want to say. Nah.
No worries. If it comes,
I believe he told me you helped him and his mom buy a house.
John Ramirez.
Yeah.
John. I was just with John yesterday. John is dynamic. Okay, correct. Because
John and Jacob.
Duaris.
Yeah.
Yes, Jacob's freaking a beast. He does a lot of work in Modesto, and that guy's a beast. He really leaves it all on the field, right? He understands how to raise capital. He understands how to leverage his resources. He understands how to track down deals. He has systems in place I was talking about systems last week. He has systems in place that prompts him to do the things he needs to do to scale real estate, like tracking down deals. He's hired an assistant. He does mailers, a variety of things, and connecting with people like him. And again, people in this community, it'll take you from just looking at what's my next deal to doing what it's going to take you to achieve your overall arching goal, which is to have a career in it and to scale it and achieve multiple acquisitions. You have to, once you buy 1, 2, that's actually very simple. To get many at a discount in a manner that can allow you to project where you'll be in 20 years, that takes systems. And we'll get into that another day, but I want you to keep that in mind, that scaling the next level after understanding how to do flips is how do you scale it, right? So let's dive into it though. So I want to thank you all for coming out. Actually, I really do, because the school community can't be successful things that I see because people don't like flat roofs. Why? Because they leak. They don't have a grade on them. You always have a problem with them. But that's not a big thing. You also have solar there, which is cool. I see a lot of trees. Looks like the pool definitely needs to either be removed, resurfaced. Something needs to get done with that pool, and that'll cost you some money. Now, when you look on the inside, again, all the pictures, it's a complete gut. Looks like somebody did some work already. They started some work, and they got started but never got it finished. Now, Miguel, did you look at the ARV, the after repair value on this property?
I was kind of messing around with the flip calculator, but I didn't know what to put for the rehab budget. But I saw like similar square footage going for about 350, 354.
Okay. So we'll do this. So as I'm analyzing deals, we need to know the details of the subject property, right? So we got the year build. That's not always the most important thing, but that could be important, right? Now I have this pulled up on the MLS. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, just up above 1,000 square feet. So when we're analyzing deals, the specs that we're looking for are the bedroom bathroom count, the square footage, and the lot size as well. A pool and solar, that also gives you value depending on the condition. It won't give you the value of a brand new one. It's significantly less. Typically, I see appraisers give about $10,000 credit for a pool, right? Which is not much, but we can do something with that pool. All right, so Zach, do me a favor. You got the MLS pulled up?
Pull it up right now.
Yeah, do me a favor. Pull that up for me, please.
Simultaneously trying to put out my open house sign.
Oh, you're working it. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in the MLS. Oh, shoot. 95204. So what I'm doing is.
What do you want me to do? Am I running comps?
We're going to run some comps. I just want to, what we want to see is we want to see what properties really sold in the last 90 days, 90 to 120 days. Some people go back as far as 6 months. If you can't find comps for a property, you can go back a little further to try to gather those comps. But I know this area, based off the square footage, is a very standard, straightforward first-time buyer home. We're going to be able to find comps as late as in the last 15 days that have sold, and that can establish what we believe the property's worth.
Yeah, what was the address again?
Miguel, you want to shoot that over to him? What was that, Miguel?
1 second.
2371 West Del Rio.
Thank you, Gerald.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna run some comps right now. Where to go? A mile.
Bear with me. I'm just punching some quick data real quick. So what I just pulled up, as Zach is looking at comps for what is sold in the past, I'm looking at what's on the market right now. So on Bedford, we have one that just sold for $419. Miguel, you see this one?
Bedford.
I have it on the screen. Don't worry about it. So when I look at this property, because we got success loves speed. When you find good deals, you got to move fast. You don't have the time to go see every single comp. But these are some of the things that are currently on the market. So when I start looking at them, I want to know what's on the market, what's it priced at, how long has it been on the market. If it's just gone on the market, very hard to tell what consumers are going to do. But if it's been hanging on the market in this condition of a market, most properties are going pending within the first week. If it's been on the market 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 60 days, there's some issues. It needs to have a price adjustment, or there's some type of sore component that people aren't buying. When I look at this one in the 400 range, already I can tell, like, look right here, right? And look right here by the doorways, the baseboards. The floors are new, but this house isn't completely remodeled. This property isn't even up to date, but somebody will buy it. But we're utilizing this to get a range of what we think we can get for our property. Now, even in the dated bathroom, that's a decent tub. I wouldn't have it in the updated property because we're thinking about flipping it. So all of our improvements are going to be contemporary. And it's a tight squeeze though. So just taking a gander at these pictures on this property, the tile floor, it doesn't have a smooth transition. The floor is not consistent and the tile is really old. Nonetheless, I look at properties like that when I'm trying to fetch some good comps, right? And this one in particular is listed at $310 per square foot. That's another metric. You can see how much per square foot other properties are being listed for and or sold. That's a very good metric to determine what ours will be sold for. So ours, the one we're looking at is 1,038 square feet. Is that right, Miguel?
Yeah.
Okay, put in your calculator 1,038 times 310. See what that value gives you. And this has only been on the market since the 3rd. I think today is the 6th? 7th?
So 320,540.
320,540. That's one of the ways that the appraiser will look at it. That's another way you can look at the comps as well. So either this property is high, rich in number, or we need to go deeper in our analysis to determine if this is a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, just slightly larger, about 230 square feet larger. What's the difference? Is 230 square feet worth, and that number was 300 and what?
354.
354. So is 200 square feet?
Sorry, 320. Sorry.
320. So is 220 square feet worth another $100,000? So either this house is overpriced, or with our square footage analysis, we still have room to grow, which is a good sign. Zach, what do you got for me? You there, Zach? Oh, Zach might be putting out the signs. Gerald, what are your thoughts?
I got about 400 ARV.
And then how'd you establish that?
So I like to go on Zillow. I know you said square footage and lot square feet don't really factor in too much, but I throw it in anyways.
Always.
I do about 250 plus or minus from the square footage. So I'm doing a range of 750 to 1250.
Mm-hmm.
And then for lot size, I'm doing about a quarter acre down to 5,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then for year built, I'm doing 10 years plus or minus. So from 1943 to 1963, I've gotten comps. So one had recently sold on July 1st off of Euclid Avenue.
Give me that address.
That one's for 440.
What's the address on that one?
Yeah, that one is 3128 West Euclid Avenue. I can't find photos on my end though, so you'd probably be able to find it on MLS.
We're gonna pull it up right now.
Yes, sir. I got 3 pulled up right here. So that's at the top of the market.
And that's 3128?
3128, yeah. That's at the top of the market. And then I've seen one midway, 3121 West Princeton Avenue. Same thing, 3-bedroom, 1-bath at 405. And then one that has sold on 2726 West Princeton Avenue at 380. So typically what I do, I'll get those 3 comps and I just add them all together and get an average of both, get an average of 3 of them. So I get that 400, I get that 440, and I get that 380. Add them all together, divided by 3, and that gave me 398. So I'm thinking that's midway. You let me know how you think about this, Jacob. Do you, obviously you want to compete when you're listing the properties, but are you listing it at the top of the market at that 440?
Good question. Depends. It depends. That's a good question. So when I look at a property, when I look at this subject property 95204, what I know is that is the entry barrier for first-time home buyers, right? When you see properties being sold and traded, the entry point is about 300,000. In fact, you can't get anything 3-1 less than 300,000, especially if it's turnkey. By turnkey means FHA or conventional, meaning you can acquire a loan. That's the biggest pool of people we want to market our property to. Because if I'm paying cash, I'm looking at the value of my money. If I pay cash, I want a discount. So the product we're putting on the market definitely is going to an FHA buyer, right?
Yeah.
And so when I look at how I would market my property, I would say yes to that question. I would say yes. But in short, let me add one other component. Not only would this go to an FHA buyer, right? When you look at, we talked earlier about investing, right? And how homes aren't penciling out. The higher up the range you go to purchase prices, 500, 600,000, the rent and the mortgage really don't make sense. So if you're looking for a hold, right? If you're saying I'm going to house hack, I'm going to go FHA, buy a house, and even if it doesn't break even, let's say I'm bleeding 100, 200 bucks, or let's say I do break even, or I have a little cash flow, you're really going to find those sweet spots in the $300,000 or $400,000 range. Yeah. Because if you look at rentals, rent for a single family home, even 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, at least starts at about $1,500. And again, the higher up you go at purchase price, the further it goes from rent. And you see rent start to shrink. The economy as a scale kicks in as you go up higher. So for a house like this, in this range, you're going to have the most activity. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And did that answer your question, Gerald?
Yeah, you're putting up on the market for that end user, knowing that they are first-time home buyers. They're more likely to go for the average price homes instead of the ones that are top of the market. Correct.
And what do most people qualify for? You look at the income in Stockton, right? A single family income, even sometimes a 2-family income. This is what it looks like. I think the average income in Stockton is about $61,000 a year. So when you take that number, you look at what most people qualify for, that doesn't even qualify for a home for $350,000. So you have a supplemental income or 2 incomes, you get a co-signer. So this is where it begins at this price point. So these are the type of properties that I like to buy anyways, because you're going to get multiple offers. If you get multiple offers, then the likelihood of you increasing your profits or your sales price is significant. Miguel, what do you got for me? You got a question?
No questions.
Okay, so when I'm looking at the subject property you have, it seemed like a very good discount. It seemed like a good deal. Now again, we have to go a little deeper, but getting a house like that in that area, improved and on the market with the solar, you're gonna crush it. But now the question is, how much does it cost? So what I want to do now is we're gonna dive right into that property really quick, and what we're gonna do is do a soft analysis of what it would cost to get it done. Now we haven't been in the property, we don't know if there's mold of the roof, but we're gonna play with some numbers and see how we can get a back of the napkin perspective of what it would cost to get that done. All right. Miguel, give me that address again, please.
It's 2371 Del Rio.
Right on. How we doing? We're live over here as well. We got a couple guests. Any questions on this end? For my school community, I'm just checking in with our folks on live. Give it to me one more time, please. Go ahead, Miguel. Give it to me one more time.
It is 2371 Del Rio Drive.
See if we can get that. Okay, here we go. We got it back up. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to kind of pick it apart. Miguel, what I need you to do is just write down some figures for me, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so as I'm looking at the property, automatically needs a new roof. There's 2 components to that roof. The primary house has a A-frame roof, which is it's a composition roof. At 1,000 square feet, we can probably get that roof done for about $8,000, plus or minus, right? And then we have that flat roof. It's probably PVC or something like that. Those roofs typically, you see less people repair them or fix them, but it definitely needs some attention. One of the challenges you'll also see when you're looking at roofs, with this one in particular, is look, you see how they have all the leaves on the roof? That creates moisture. That creates just different challenges that really eat away at that roof, and you're gonna have to repair it. And because you have all these trees right here, that's where all the leaves are coming from. So two things need to take place. The roof needs to be replaced, and the trees need to get cut back if you're gonna have a long-term success with this property. Let's give that figure $12,000, because we're gonna put some gutters on there too, because notice there are no gutters here. And without gutters, you're gonna have water intrusion. You're gonna see these fascias, which they have issues right now. You see the dry rot, you see the peeling paint. You're gonna have long-term issues, and anybody that buys a house, they're gonna want gutters. You also wanna keep the water away from the house. That way you don't have foundation issues. More specifically in 95204 in Stockton, because there's adobe clay, you always see foundation issues. That dirt gets very, very brittle during the hot, dry summers like we're currently in. And when it rains throughout the wintertime, that stuff turns into muddy water, and you see houses start to settle, move, and shift, and get cracks and a lot of issues. The other thing you're gonna have to make a decision about, like if you look right here, all right, let me see if I can zone in right here. Well, you're gonna have to make a decision about what you're gonna do with the exterior. Are you gonna stucco todo? You know my guy Jose, you're gonna stucco todo everything on the outside? That makes it look really nice. Or are you gonna replace this siding right here, which is wood, prime it, paint it, and paint the entire house? That's what we have to determine. If Jose stucco that house, he might charge about $8 grand. So let's put $8 grand there.
Stucco everything.
Stucco todo, right? Here's what I want you to notice. You see the window? I can't see the window in person, but it looks like a newer window. It doesn't look aluminum. Hopefully we can save all the windows, so we won't put that price on there. They may charge a little bit more with this roof because they're gonna have to remove the solar, improve the roof, and put the solar back on, supposing that all the panels on the solar are in good condition. But in the back of your head, you're gonna wanna know up front, I wonder what the condition of that solar is. Is there a warranty? Is it paid off? When I acquire the property, is there money still owed on it? Is the solar being serviced, in which I have to acquire that as well? Because when you pitch that to an FHA buyer, they're gonna have to qualify for it, or somebody's gonna have to pay it off. So these are things you wanna know in advance, regardless of your exit strategy, whether you're gonna keep it or you're gonna sell it.
I have a quick question for you.
Let's go, I'm ready for you.
So do you get your crew to take out the solars, or do you get the specialty trade guy to do that for you?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Okay, so early on in my career, it seems like it was a million years ago, not that long ago. Early on in my career, I did everything. I did everything. One, I did everything because I didn't have the money. Number two, I did everything because I didn't understand the future value and the current value of time and money. I thought that was my highest and best use of my time, which was to do everything. And three, I wanted to learn. I wanted to put myself in a position that one day when I share this information with other people or utilize it for myself, I could do just this and look at it and say, okay, hey, this is how much it would cost. So to your question about my crews, it depends on the type of talent you have. Like the current roofer I have right now, we have such a good relationship, and he's dynamic. So I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it at all. I tell him, get it. And that's what you always have to do. You have to put yourself back in the circles and communities like this where you attract good talent in which they can do the job on time, they can do the job affordably, and you don't have to coach them through it. So for me to answer that question, I wouldn't do it. I'd have my roofer do it. My roofer can do anything. He can do framing, but he only does roofs. But if I ask my roofer, hey, can you take that down and put it back up? No problem. And any average roofer, because in California, you're required to have solar, especially on new builds as early as anything built after 2023, I believe. So anybody that's a true roofer, if they say they can't remove the solar, they don't have anybody to remove the solar, and they factor that price into the cost of it, that's not somebody I would want to work with anyways.
You said you wouldn't want to work with somebody that tells you that they wouldn't do it, or
that they can't do it.
That they can't do it.
Right. So whether they do it or they have a subcontractor or a team that can do it, I have to take it off my plate. Because we talked about scalability and systems. By me going to babysit that, I could be looking for another deal. I could be raising more capital. I could be networking with my community. And I want you guys to keep that in mind, the future value and the current value of time and money. So yes, if I meet a roofer that can't do that, I probably would move on to the next person. The only way I would work with them if I had nobody. But fortunately, I have about 3 or 4 roofers right now. But the one roofer that I work with, my guy Raul, he'll knock that out with no problem. He probably wouldn't charge me, to be honest with you. But even if he did, it factors back down to what does it cost, right? And so if his bid for all of that is something I can chew on, I'm taking it. I'm not going to manage that though. That's what I want you guys to keep in mind. If you do what I did early on in my career, you'll pay for it. It'll become your lifestyle, it'll become your standard. We have to raise our standards. We are all businessmen and women. And so our job is to identify properties, write the offers, get them in contract, force some equity, get good debt, and go on to the next one. My job is not to go to Lowe's and try to find new panels or call this person about a warranty. I'm not doing that. That takes time. Now, if you had an admin, that'd be a little bit different. But we as individuals that are growing in real estate, right, and trying to be masters of deals, we can't do it. Miguel, I want you to see something. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm going to try to zoom in. I can't zoom in. But right here, you can see the roof is wavy, right? And this right here, this line, this is either an electrical line or some PVC. If it's PVC, that means that there's an AC unit on the other side and the water's traveling that distance. You always get leaks in these PVCs and the AC units that are on the roof. I don't know if that's what's going on, but those are some things you want to look for. If you look close in the pictures right here, it's a lot of waviness going on the roof. You see all of this, this foliage, these trees. That has been there for a long time. And that's been sitting on that roof, holding in moisture, doing damage to the roof. So I can tell you for sure, this whole thing needs to be replaced. I'm also looking at like this window right here, this huge window. Replacing this window right here would be an arm and a leg. You'd have to get piece by piece cut, even the way it's framed. Very likely for me, I would probably frame it, put a window in there. I'd go to Lowe's or Home Depot, get a larger window, maybe a 4x5, and I'd place the 4x5 in there, and I'd frame all of that and stucco over it. Because very likely, I'm looking at the exterior of the window frame has failed. You have dry rot around it. So what's the fastest way to do it in the most affordable way, and what's the way you can do it in which it doesn't become an additional task for you, stopping you from finding other deals and becoming a deal master, right? And then when I look around these windows as well, they're all rotted. You can see the peeled paint. I can see that there's dry rot in there very quickly. The gutters have failed as well. So with these windows, I typically look at windows at about $600 a piece for purchase and install. So you count the windows in a house. If there's 20 windows, 20 times $600. And that's how you get that math. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to count these windows right now. Hard to tell. 6. This is a side room, 7, 8. Let's go and put 15 windows on there. 15 times 6. Miguel, you can do that math as we're moving through this?
Yeah.
All right, so now let's go inside. All right? We have 1 bathroom. This is 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom. This is the main bathroom. And so this bathroom needs to have everything because there's not another half bathroom anywhere in the house. We've already calculated for the window, but the mirror has to go. This right here is water intrusion. Because there's no curtain in the shower, very likely water was hopping out the shower and affected this area. And you have some brown spots. All that sheetrock needs to be tore out. The bathroom needs to be gutted. In addition, the bathtub looks like it's in decent condition. You may be able to salvage it. And if we can salvage it, that's what we're always trying to do because that allows you to place money in other places or save some of your money. Again, we're always going to have standards as we're flipping property, but if we can save money, we will. But imagine we have to just pull the whole bathtub out. I think those pieces and the bathtub at Lowe's, you can get the whole set like $1,300, right? And that includes your copper behind the shower walls because you need to update your copper or whatever the plumbing is that looks like behind it before you re-put that shower combo. A toilet's going to cost us $200. We can get a vanity at Lowe's for $400. That's including the sink. But then we have to get baseboards, again, sheetrocks and mirrors. So let's just add another $1,000 there as well. Bingo, I found the AC unit. So this is electrical right here. I don't know what that electrical is, but it's something. The AC unit is on the side of the house and it looks slanted. Can't really tell the condition of it, but I would imagine that's something we have to factor in. If we need to change that condenser and run more lines, that could be somewhere around 15 grand. Now this pool's a problem. The pool's a problem. What would you do? Would you resurface the pool? Would you fill the pool in? What would you do, Miguel?
Probably see whatever the cheapest option is. If you can save the pool, save it. If it's going to be, not worth it financially, then probably cover it up.
What do you got, Gerald?
I would try to save it. It don't look like there's much to it. I mean, the foundation around it looks solid. I would reface the pool. Maybe get maintenance on that. What do you call it? The unit for the pool, the filter,
the pump.
The pump. Yeah, right. I can't really see that well on the TV, but if it checks out, and let's say I get somebody out there to go look at it, and they say they can clean it out and bring it back to life, I would definitely try to lean into that, because in Stockton, I mean, it is super hot out here, and that'd be a valuable selling point. Am I correct?
I'd agree. Zach, what do you got?
I agree with what Miguel and Joe were saying, that you're probably going to want to evaluate what it would take to fix it, because like you were saying earlier, appraisers are really going to only add maybe 10, 15 grand value for a pool. So if those numbers don't pencil out, like if it's going to cost you a lot to service the pool, but it's not going to bring you a lot of value for the end user and for the sale,
right,
then it might not be worth it. But if it's not too much to get it resurfaced and get it going and make it look nice, then go for it. No one's going to be necessarily mad at the pool.
Right.
You might have a small group of buyers that are like, I don't really want a pool because there's too much maintenance.
Right.
But there's still a lot of people who are like, no, I'm not against the pool. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're like,
right.
It's not really too much work to maintain a pool as long as you're on top of it. So it depends on what it would take to get it right.
Right.
Compared to what kind of value it's going to bring to the home at the end.
Right. Gerald, do me a quick favor. Gerald, Google the cost of resurfacing a pool in California. Average cost. While he's looking that up, I can already tell you, in a lot of ways, it's a bit of a wash, right? Just based off the pool, the way it appears and looks, I can definitely, with confidence, say that if the pool looks like this, the pump looks like that. And very likely it looks like this because the pump's out, right?
It costs you around $3,500 to $8,500 for a rough finish, and staggering $5,000 to $10,000 for a polish finish. So no more than 85 there.
So we're going to stick with the 8, all right? We're going to stick with the 8,000. Miguel, you got the 8,000 on our calendar?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so to resurface the pool about 8, I imagine for that pump, they might charge another $3,500 to $5,500. Let's just put a $4 grand on there for that new pump. And it's only quite fitting if you're going to resurface the pool, why not put a pump, right?
Yeah.
And then we have another $2,000 that needs to get spent on landscaping, right? Because the property needs to be brought back, trees need to get cut. And even that's conservative, but let's go and put that on there. Now, when I say it's a wash, here's the problem. If the appraiser's only going to give you on the top end 15 grand, to resurface it, put a new pump and do the landscaping, we're already at 15 grand. So you're not going to get any value for the pool. And then if we decide to cover up the pool, plug it with dirt, and then do some landscaping on top of that, again, we're probably going to be somewhere around 15 grand. So you're at a space in which it doesn't matter which way you go, you're not going to get the value. You probably just better pick the one you can either do the fastest or the one you like to do. We got solar, right? We're going to want to get an electrician out here. That box is probably a 100 amp or 200 amp box, very small box. You may or may not want to upgrade that box. So, that's the exterior, and those are the physical things we can see. Miguel, what I want you to put down is the house is about 1,100 square feet. So for flooring, baseboards, and trim, we're going to be at $5 and installation. Let's call that $6 a square foot, right? We're gonna have some labor in there. We're gonna have the removal. We're gonna have the new flooring. We may have some more area if we need that. So that's $6 a square foot, including labor. There's 3 bedrooms. There's a garage, a front door. There's a couple closets in there, right? And so if we coin that at about $200, that's door, frame, hinges, right? Let's call that $200 on average, $200 a door. If that's 7 doors, that's 7 times 200. What is that? $1,400. To get somebody in there to, if we don't have to do a whole lot of patching of the sheetrock, which a lot of it seemed to be new, like they were working on it. My guy Jose will probably give me a bid for something like that around $6,000 to mud it, texture it, prep it for paint, sand it, right? And then our painter may charge us about $2,200 for paint and labor for the interior. That kitchen, on average, I'm gonna give that kitchen a $13,000 remodel, right? We could go into the details, but for the sake of time, I just want to progress us through it. So we have the kitchen, we have the rooms, right? We're gonna put another $2,500 on there for baseboard and baseboard installations, right? We'll put another $700 on there for lights and switches. That's just material. We could probably get somebody to do the work for another $1,000, right? So Miguel, just with those numbers, that's not everything. That's what's going to be necessary to have the curb appeal and have that place look presentable. Where are we at? Are we below $100,000?
Let me tally it up real quick.
And what, Jiro, what's the purchase price on that property? $131. All right. So purchase price is $131K, right? Miguel, what do you have on the material and the labor that we just kind of calculated on the soft end? What do you think that was at?
The labor?
Mm-hmm. Material and labor.
Material labor. I'm still adding it.
Okay, take your time. And Gerald, you said our comps were where were they at on the comps you did? Because you did an average. You took 3 sold properties and you added them up and divided by 3 to get an average, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to call that our ARV. Our after repair value was how much? 400K. Now, is that conservative?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you think it is on the top end if the property gets multiple offers and is leading against the pack, and we have just a variety of buyers that come in, but we can still meet appraisal? Where do you think that number is?
I'd say 420, 430.
420. Okay.
Yeah, 425.
We're about 90,000 on everything.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay. So if our ARV conservative, because we always want to be conservative. If you always shoot for high numbers or the highest number or the best likely possibility, you'll find yourself out of this business very quickly. So our ARV is 400,000. You said our budget for repairs was 90 grand.
Yeah.
We'll put a 10% kicker in there, right? For surprises. So we're at 100K. So 131 plus our repairs is 231K. Now that's supposing that we can get this property that cheap. One of the other things is the fact that it's in 95204. You really got to know your neighborhood. You got to know your backyard. A lot of the homes in 95204 are in flood zones. Do you know if it's in a flood zone?
Most likely, yeah.
Okay, so that is why we always want to keep analyzing deals and know the area in which we're doing deals, because the flood insurance is about $2,300 a year on average, and that has to be factored into a first-time buyer's purchase price. So with that type of payment, you can lose about 30 grand. So if you was going to sell the home for 430, the comp in the next area at 400, if you was going to sell yours for 430, the true value really is 400,000, because most people will lose purchasing power because of the cost of the flood insurance. They have that levy that runs in that country club area, and it's not like that everywhere. But that's something we want to take into account when we're analyzing deals, because if you miss that, you'll screw up your numbers, right? Now, supposing we can get it for this number, we write the offer, we consult with the agent. One of the things I would probably do aggressively is I'd have the listing agent represent me. What's the benefit of that? When you work with listing agents and you have them represent you, they have a fiduciary duty to everybody, but then they get paid twice. So if you are okay with them representing you, you're in good shape. I suppose that property would go for more, but if it was at 131 and our estimated repair value is $100,000, now we're at 231. Now, are we doing cash? Are we doing hard money? Are we doing private money? Miguel, what were you thinking about doing with that deal?
Probably most likely hard money.
Hard money. Who do you go through for hard money? Do you have a relationship?
No. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, no, not at the moment.
No worry, you're gonna have one because we have one for you. What I want you to do, write down in your notes. Remind me to send you Christy Mathers and Scott Lyman's information over at Iron Oak. The good people all endorse you. All right. And so for any of you that are looking for hard money players that can support you in your deals, there's a variety of them out there. There's Kiavi, there's private money. There's a lot of different components out there. But in short, that's what I would endorse you to consider. So long story short, we're at 131 plus 100,000. That's 231. We're going to have some holding costs every month because we're going to have the project for 4 to 6 months, right? The mortgage on that is probably $1,300. I'm doing some quick math because we're running out of time here. And so $1,300 times 6 months, we'll add that in. They'll have some points in there, right? And then you have realtor fees on the back end. If you're going to sell it for $400,000, you can plug in another $2,200 in costs on the front. So let's just call that 50. We're going to add another 50 grand, 50K. So 131 plus 100,000 is 231. That puts us at 280. That puts us right below 300,000. If we could sell it for 400,000, which was our goal, we make 100 grand. That's the quick back of the napkin math of analyzing deals. And if we had more time, we would have dove into it more. But I wanted to take a detailed approach to it because when I learned on YouTube, it was very, very fast. I didn't get it. But I also want to open up this for a Q&A. You guys have questions for me? We've got about 5 minutes left.
I have a question. So the flood insurance, I didn't know that you had to account that even for like a flip project. I thought it was always with the buy and hold. So with the flip project, you're getting the total of how long you're owning the property for, or how long the 30-year mortgage is, or how does that play out? Right.
So when you go hard money, they're going to want you to have that flood insurance on the property, right? So before you close on the deal, they're going to say, hey, bind your insurance policy, your home insurance policy and your flood insurance policy. When they open up title, it's going to be in the prelim as well. That there needs to be flood insurance on the property. When you go out there to get a quote, whether through Mercury, there's only a few places that really provide that flood insurance. They're probably going to give you a number annually at like $2,600 a month, right? Or $26 a year. In getting that policy, you would divide it by 12, but that policy has to be paid in full. Once you close on a property and sell it, you get the prorated amount back. But it is an upfront cost. Now, from a hard money perspective, you're not going to lose purchasing power. They just want you to pay it up front. But when you get qualified, because, you know, when we go to the conventional and FHA market, right, that qualification is very, very different than what it looks like for private and hard money. But the reason why it matters is because when we're looking at our end user from a flip, when we're saying, hey, we want to sell it for 430, right? If we sell it for 430, here's what's going to be our ARV is 430, so our profit is going to be about 100 grand after all expenses. Well, that means that somebody looking has to qualify for 460. And so some of the things I look at immediately is if I want to sell mine for 430, but essentially they need to be qualified for 460, what else is out there at 460 that they can buy? Because this is a 3-1. If you have 460, can you go in a superior neighborhood? Can you get closer to a better school? Can you get better lot size? Can you get an additional bathroom? One of our Achilles heels is the fact that we only have one bathroom. At 460, you can go on that market and find something 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. And so, quite naturally, Gerald, you're growing a family. You're working your butt off trying to raise your family and make the appropriate sacrifices. I would imagine that you and your wife would want two bathrooms, correct?
Absolutely.
So we already have these challenges, and so these are the factors we have to keep in mind prior to getting involved in the deals. Far too often, people say, "Oh, I can make 100 grand." There's math that needs to be taking place. And so, again, being in a flood zone, people don't want to be in flood zones. Being in the flood zone means you have to pay higher insurance every year. And then also we have the one bathroom, and it's an older home. So if you don't take those components into account, we'll pay for it.
Okay.
Miguel, what do you got for me?
No questions. Just took a bunch of notes.
Okay. Zach, what do you got?
I don't know.
No, I was just taking a bunch of notes. I don't really have any questions.
You're solid.
I was going to ask a question kind of similar to what Gerald just asked about the flood insurance, but that covered it. I never thought about. I knew that when I had talked to when you had connected me with Christy, I had talked to her a little bit, but kind of about how they do it, and that's when I learned about how they require you to get insurance on a property, even if it's not in a flood zone. That they want there to be some sort of insurance on the property. That way,
Right.
There's just a little bit of peace of mind for both parties, for the lenders, for you,
Right.
for everybody involved.
Right.
So yeah, I that was definitely something I learned that I wasn't too educated about how having insurance on the property while you own it, while you're getting the project done, is a big thing, and that's something a lot of people don't really think about. So
critical.
Yeah, that was
critical.
Yeah, that was good.
You know, as we were looking at, like I said, I know 95204. I have 2 houses in 95204 right now, and I know my backyard, and that's what I know. Gerald does out-of-state wholesaling. The thing with wholesaling, which is a beautiful thing, is Gerald's exposure to risk is very, very minimal. But when you start holding property, flipping property, you're starting to grow in this. Don't get outside your comfort zone. Don't get outside what you know to be what you can accomplish. If you do that, you will pay for it. There's a cost, there's a tax with that. And so that's why we're having a school channel, because I bought one in a flood zone before. Fortunately, it worked out. I had no freaking clue. Also, I'll add another thing about flood zone, Miguel, since you're eyeing that property. And Miguel, if you want me to pop over with you, I'll go with you. I'm sure Gerald will go, Zach will go, Borhan will go as well. Everybody's invited. Some of the properties, that's an established neighborhood. So some of the properties you're looking at have been owned by families for 40, 50 years or longer. You can grandfather current policy. So when writing an offer like that, it's important to go to the listing agent and say, hey, is there a current policy? And can I assume that policy? And that could be, I got one as cheap as $800. So that's all the good stuff. But hey, we're coming down to the needle. The time is over. I've been having a blast with you guys, man. But what I want to say is a couple things. I want to say thank you. I appreciate you guys. You guys have been present. You guys have been very, very, you're asking great questions. And that's what it's all about, because I always want to make sure that, obviously, this is a free course. But I want to make sure I'm bringing value. If I'm not bringing value, then what am I doing it for? I want to try to bring the value that I didn't get. So I hope to continue to do that. We're going to have this connection every Sunday at 9 a.m. But if you guys will do me a favor, will you guys tell some friends about it?
Absolutely.
All right. I got some pretty big stuff in store in the month of August and the month of November. Really, really big stuff for this community. And I only do it if I could bring a lot of value. And so if you guys tell a friend, do a post, that's all I ask. And in short, I'm jamming. Unless you guys have any other questions, I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.
Sounds good, man.
All right.
Cool, man.
Hey, thank you.
That was great. Thank you, man. I appreciate it a lot.
Right on, Miguel. Shoot me a text. I'll make sure I get you hooked up with Christy. Zach, do me a favor in the school channel. Drop the information regarding the time frame of that fourplex, and let's see if we can all go over there. Mastermind. Yeah. Borhan, you there?
Got it.
Borhan, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Right on. Hey, Borhan, do me a favor. Send me a direct message. I want to connect with you.
All right, sound good, brother.
Hey, thank you all so much. I appreciate you. See you next week at 9. All right, take care. All right. All right, bye-bye. What are you laughing at?